Hello and welcome back. Thank you for tuning in today. I have a topic that I think is important. It talks about not just highlighting how to get into the home, but what happens after you go under contract. What are the steps after your offer has been accepted and now you're on your way to closing? There's several things that have to happen. Let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel. Again, my name is Adalia Sosanya. This is Showing the Best in Oklahoma, where I share with you property tours, information about our local market, and tips on home ownership, how to get into the home, how to maintain your home, and how to sell your properties. And I also sell commercial real estate. So if you are looking into that as well, that is something that I would be happy to help you move forward with that. Okay, so our topic today is you're under contract. What are the next steps? Well, I have identified 7 things that happen after your offer's been accepted and what you need to do. The very first thing that happens after you have found the home, you've taken all this wonderful time, you've negotiated the offer, and everything has lined up. The next step is to submit your earnest money. That is step 1. The earnest money, of course, if you are not familiar with that term, that is money that is good faith deposit. Let's call it that. It is held in an escrow account, typically at a title company. And that money is held for you until closing. It is counted towards the closing costs, but it also can be a buffer in between, of course, you and the seller if the contract goes awry. The seller cannot sell the home to anyone during the terms of the agreement to close. But that is step 1, is to submit your earnest money. Number 2. The next thing that happens after you're under contract is you want to schedule and attend your home inspections. So the home inspection is your time to fully understand more details about what is going on with that home. During your initial walkthrough of that home, of your touring, of course, you may see some things, but the home inspector is going to go in and test things, right? They're going to look at the roof. They're going to check the electrical outlets. They're going to check plumbing. They're turning water on. They're checking gas. I mean, they're really testing things out to see if there are red flags or things that you need to monitor or that you need to address. So that is your inspection period to be able to fully assess what's going on with that property. That is the second thing that you want to do or happens after you're under contract. Number 3 is you want to obtain your homeowner's insurance. You can start with your car, your vehicle, because a lot of times you're able to bundle auto and home together. Here in Oklahoma, we have some of the highest insurance because we get tornadoes and hailstorms. So if you're anywhere else, you still want to make sure you're shopping around for good homeowners insurance. That is information that you will need to give to your lender because that can also determine where your monthly mortgage payment is going to land. Property taxes and insurance are huge factors in determining where that payment is. Of course, interest rate as well. All right, that was our 3rd thing. Our 4th thing that's happening once you're under contract, the next steps are going to be for your appraisal to be ordered. So a copy of your contract is given to the mortgage lender. It's also given to the title company. That appraisal that needs to be ordered is for the lender to assess value of the home. Now, the home inspection is for you for safety and making sure you understand, what you're buying from a safety standpoint. But the appraisal is really more for the lender because in most cases, they're putting up, 80 to 95, 97% of the loan. So they're going to assess the value of that compared to other properties in the area. The condition of it is absolutely essential. So the appraisal, if you're purchasing a home with financing, is going to be a next step under contract process. And that is paid separately. So that is something you would pay for at the time the appraisal is done, as well as the home inspection. All right, number 5 is going to be your title work. That is happening. Now, you don't have to necessarily go and do the title work yourself. That is being handled by a local title company where they're going to go in and order the abstract. They're checking to see if there's any liens on that property that could affect your ability to take ownership. You want to make sure that is done. It is absolutely an essential step in the process. And if you're purchasing with a loan, that's automatic anyway, because the lender is going to have a lender's title policy. And then, of course, you want to make sure you're covered in the policy as well, and verifying the names, how you want to hold title. All of that is happening after you're under contract. Okay. Number 6. Now, the second step that we said was to schedule and attend the inspections. Now, moving into line number 6, we're going to all those repairs negotiations from those inspections are happening. Okay. So there's no home that is free and clear and just perfect. I always like to say homes are made by man. Man makes mistakes. So you're going to have a home, even on new construction, that is going to have something on that inspection report. That is the inspector's job, is to identify things that you need to know about that home. So during that time, you're able to negotiate any items of repairs from that inspection report. And be sure to tune into the next video where I will talk a little bit more in detail of your rights around your inspection period. Okay, now we're getting to the end. The 7th thing that happens after you're under contract is for you to do a final walkthrough. That is prior to closing. If you had anything from the inspections and repair negotiations that came back that got fixed, that is the time for you to go in and verify that work. You can verify receipts. If the property was occupied during the time it was under contract, hopefully by this point, the sellers have moved out of the home so you can see it in its naked state, right? So I know at one point I had this was years ago, where I was representing the seller, and it was a final walkthrough. It was in the winter time. My client had one of those high efficiency units in the attic. And when they went to come and test the heat, it didn't come on. And I'm thinking nothing was turned off. Like, turns out the pipe had frozen, and we had to call an HVAC person out to unthaw. And it was just a whole situation the listing agent had to handle, because my client wasn't in state, couldn't get her on the phone. It was just a situation. But had that final walkthrough with that buyer's agent not been done, we wouldn't have known that. And they would have had to pay for something like that. So a final walkthrough is absolutely essential. It can be done the day before or the day of. It really just depends on what you've negotiated in that report that may need a little bit more time for you to walk through that property. Okay, and the very last step, of course, which we all know, is going to be closing day. That is the day that you will receive legal title to the property, any keys, garage remotes, access codes, all of that information is usually given on closing day. That's the day where you're taking photos, you're happy, you are a homeowner. And I hope this information you have found valuable. My name is Adalia Sosanya. I'm a licensed real estate professional where I help clients make informed financial decisions as they transition in and out of their homes. And this is Showing the Best in Oklahoma, where you will get property tours, information about buying and selling, and just information on the real estate and local market. Be sure to tune in again. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.